The second day of the year. It's the most dangerous day for your family's soul. On this night you have a unique chance to seal a protection that will last for 12 whole months. Padre Pio revealed this to a group of the faithful on January 2nd, 1959, in San Giovanni Rotondo. And what he taught them that night has never been published in any official book. But before I reveal this annual protection ritual, you must understand why the second day of the year is so critical in the spiritual economy of salvation. On January 1st, the entire church celebrates Mary, Mother of God. Graces flow abundantly. The gates of heaven are wide open, but on the second day, something changes. The demons, who kept their distance during Mary's feast, return with a vengeance. They know that the faithful have let down their guard. They know that collective prayer has weakened, and it's precisely at this moment that they choose to strike. Padre Pio compared the second day of the year to a battlefield after a great victory. Soldiers celebrate. They rest. They think the enemy is defeated, but the enemy is not defeated. He has simply hidden to strike more effectively. And when he strikes, he targets the most vulnerable: children, the sick, souls who have recently lost a loved one. This revelation came to Padre Pio on January 2nd, 1959. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, the hour when the veil between the visible and invisible worlds is at its thinnest, the hour when demons are the most active, the hour when Padre Pio often fought battles that no one saw. That night, he was in prayer in his cell when he sensed a presence. It wasn't the first time he had encountered the demon. Physical attacks were frequent. Blows, burns, howls that woke the entire monastery. But this night was different. The demon hadn't come to attack him. He had come to brag. He told Padre Pio that he had received a special permission, a permission that lasted from the second day of January until the end of the year, a permission to attack all the families who hadn't sealed their spiritual protection that night. And he laughed, a laughter that, according to Padre Pio's testimony, resembled the cracking of 1,000 broken bones. Padre Pio asked the Virgin Mary to reveal to him how to protect families, how to prevent this demonic offensive that was being prepared. And Mary appeared in his cell. She wore a deep blue cloak, like the sky on a moonless night. And beneath this cloak, Padre Pio saw thousands of souls, souls of entire families, gathered under the protection of the Mother of God. Mary told him that the second day of the year was the day she extended her cloak over the families who asked for it. But it had to be asked for. A specific ritual had to be performed, a ritual that would seal the protection for the 12 months to come. Padre Pio shared this ritual with a small group of the faithful the next morning. Among them was a woman named Evelyn Miller. She had lost her husband 2 months earlier. She had come to San Giovanni Rotondo with her 3 children, hoping to receive a special blessing from Padre Pio to begin the year. When Padre Pio began to speak about the protection ritual, Evelyn was already crying. She knew her family was vulnerable. She knew that, without her husband, she had to bear the weight of the spiritual protection of her children alone. And she was afraid. A deep, visceral fear that had kept her awake for weeks. Padre Pio looked directly at her and said these words, which still resonate today, in the hearts of those who hear them. Mother's got you covered. Mama's got you covered. And when Mama's got you covered, no demon can touch you. The ritual that Padre Pio revealed that day involves 3 steps. 3 steps that must be completed on the second day of the year, before midnight. And each step has a deep spiritual significance that I'm going to explain to you now. The first step is purification. Before sealing the protection, you must purify the space and the souls. Padre Pio recommended taking holy water and going around each room of the house, forming a cross on the doors and windows, not just any cross. A cross traced from top to bottom first, then from left to right, while reciting these words, "In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. May this house be purified from all evil influence." This purification is not a mere formality. It creates a spiritual barrier that prevents demons from entering. Padre Pio explained that demons leave invisible traces in the houses where they have acted. These traces are like open doors, and if you don't close them at the beginning of the year, they remain open for 12 whole months. Evelyn asked how to know if her house had these demonic traces. Padre Pio replied that there were signs, frequent arguments in a particular room, recurring nightmares, an inexplicable sensation of cold, objects that disappear and reappear, strange noises at night. If these signs were present, purification was even more urgent. The second step is consecration. After purifying the house, you must consecrate the family to the Virgin Mary. Padre Pio recommended gathering all the members of the family before an image of the Virgin, not just any image, an image that has been blessed by a priest, an image before which the family has already prayed. Before this image, the head of the family must recite a prayer of consecration, a prayer that places each member of the family into the hands of Mary, each child, each parent, each grandparent, the living and the dead, for the souls of the deceased in the family also need this protection. Padre Pio dictated the exact words of this prayer of consecration. I'm going to share them with you now, because they have never been published in their entirety. Virgin Mary, Mother of God and our Mother, on this second day of the new year, we place ourselves under your cloak of protection. We entrust to you our entire family, the living who are present and those who are absent, the souls of our deceased who await in purgatory, the unborn children, whom you alone know. Cover us with your blue cloak. Close the doors of our house. Hide to any spiritual enemy. Keep our souls pure during the 12 months to come, and when the demon approaches, may he see your presence and flee. We promise in return to honor you each day by the rosary, to wear your image key close to our hearts, to pass on our faith to our children, and to make your protection known to all those who suffer. This prayer should be recited 3 times, once for the living, once for the deceased, once for future generations, and with each recitation, each family member should hold a rosary in their hands. The third step is the sealing. This is the most important and the most delicate step. After the purification and consecration, you must seal the protection so that it lasts all year long. Padre Pio explained that spiritual protection is like a contract between the family and heaven, but a contract that isn't signed is worthless, and the sealing, that's the signature on the contract, to seal the protection. Padre Pio recommended taking a white candle, a brand new candle, one that has never been lit. This candle represents the new year, pure and without stain. You should light it before the image of Mary, Mother of God, at the exact moment of midnight on the second day of the year, or as soon as possible before midnight. While the candle is burning, each family member should write their first name on a blank piece of paper. The names should be written by hand, not printed, because handwriting carries the energy of the soul, and these papers should be placed under the image of Mary, Mother of God, until the candle is completely consumed. When the candle extinguishes itself, the sealing is complete. Mother's got you covered. Mary, Mother of God, has accepted the protection of the family for the entire year. The papers with the names should then be kept in a sacred place in the house. Many place them in their family Bible. Others keep them in a drawer with religious objects. Evelyn Miller listened to these instructions with extreme attention. She wrote them down in a small notebook that she always kept with her. And that night, on the second day of the year, 1959, she performed the ritual with her 3 children. What happened next defies any natural explanation. While the candle was burning, her eldest son, Peter, who was 12 years old, began to cry. These were not ordinary tears. They were tears of liberation. He told his mother that he was seeing his father, not in a dream, not in his imagination. He was actually seeing him, standing next to Mary, Mother of God, smiling. Evelyn didn't dare to look. She was afraid of breaking the moment. But her two other children, who were younger, confirmed what Peter was seeing. They were seeing their father, and he was signaling to them that everything was okay. The candle burned for exactly 4 hours. 4 hours during which the family remained in prayer, sometimes in silence, sometimes reciting the rosary. And when the flame went out, the scent of roses filled the room. The scent of roses, the characteristic sign of Padre Pio. The sign that grace had been granted. The sign that Mary, Mother of God, had agreed to cover this family with her mantle. Mama's got you covered. Evelyn went back to see Padre Pio the next morning to tell him what had happened. Padre Pio didn't seem surprised. He simply said that her husband was now in the light, that he had been freed from purgatory thanks to the prayers of his family, and thanks to this ritual of consecration. But he added something that marked Evelyn for the rest of her life. He told her that the protection she had sealed that night extended not only to her and her children, but also to 7 future generations. 7 generations of her family who would benefit from this sealing done in faith on the 2nd day of the year, 1959. This revelation about the 7 generations is one of the best-kept secrets of Padre Pio's spirituality, because it implies that our acts of faith have consequences that go beyond our own lives, that what we do today can protect our great-great-grandchildren. That prayer travels through time like an arrow of light. Padre Pio explained that the number 7 was not a coincidence. 7 is the number of divine perfection, 7 days of creation, 7 sacraments, 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, and when a family consecrates itself to Mary, Mother of God, with sincere faith, that consecration bears fruit for 7 generations. But be careful. This protection is not automatic. It requires renewal. Every year on the 2nd day of the year, the ritual must be repeated, not necessarily by the same person, but by someone in the family who takes up the torch of faith. That's why I'm sharing this ritual with you now, at the beginning of 2026. Because maybe you are the one who must take up this torch. Maybe you are the soul chosen to seal the protection of your family for the years to come. But before you can perform this ritual, there's something important you need to know. Something that Padre Pio only revealed to a few trusted people. Something that specifically concerns the times we live in 1959. When Padre Pio revealed this ritual, he also made a prophecy about the 2020s and beyond. He said that these years would be marked by an unprecedented demonic offensive against families. An offensive that would aim to destroy family ties, to separate parents from children, to distance generations from each other. He said that demons would use invisible weapons, weapons that would enter homes without anyone seeing them, weapons that would capture the attention of children for hours, weapons that would create addictions and isolation. When we read these words today, in 2026, we can only be struck by their accuracy. The screens that captivate our children, the networks that divide families, the ideologies that separate generations. Everything that Padre Pio had foreseen is coming true before our eyes, but he also said something reassuring. He said that the families who had sealed their protection with the ritual of the 2nd day of the year would be like islands of light in an ocean of darkness. These families would remain united. These families would transmit the faith. These families would be protected from the worst attacks of the enemy. And now, I must reveal something that few people know. Something that specifically concerns the year 2026. Padre Pio had a particular vision of the year 2026, a vision that he shared with only 3 people in his lifetime. 2 of these people have died. The third, a cloistered nun, finally agreed to share this revelation in 2019, shortly before her own death. According to this nun, Sister Maria Consiglia, Padre Pio had told her that the year 2026 would be a pivotal year for humanity, a year where spiritual forces will clash with an intensity unseen since the Middle Ages. A year where families who have chosen Mary will be protected, while others will face terrible trials. He didn't specify the nature of these trials, but he emphasized the importance of the ritual on the second day of the year 2026. He said that in that year, the sealing of protection would have particular power. Because 2026 marks the 7th centenary of a major event in the history of Marian devotion. I'm talking about the death of St. Francis of Assisi, the founder of the order to which Padre Pio belonged. St. Francis died on October 3, 1226, and in 2026, we'll celebrate the 800th anniversary of his passing into heaven. This coincidence is no accident. It creates a particular spiritual opening. Padre Pio had immense devotion to St. Francis. He bore his stigmata as St. Francis had borne them. He lived in poverty, as St. Francis had lived, and he knew that the year 2026 would be marked by a special grace related to this anniversary. Sister Bethany Rose reported that Padre Pio told her that families who seal their protection on the second day of the year 2026 would receive a double grace, a grace linked to Mary and a grace linked to St. Francis. A double protection that would accompany them not only during the year, but would extend over several generations. This revelation deeply moved me when I discovered it, because it gives this ritual a particular importance this year. It transforms the second day of the year 2026 into a unique moment in the spiritual history of our families. But there's more. Sister Bethany Rose also revealed that Padre Pio had given her additional instructions for the 2026 ritual. Instructions that had never been shared before. Instructions that increase the power of the sealing. These instructions concern the sacred objects to use during the ritual. In addition to the white candle and the image of the Virgin Mary, Padre Pio recommended adding 3 elements for the year 2026. The first element is an image of St. Francis of Assisi. This image should be placed next to the image of the Virgin Mary during the ritual. It represents the link between Mary and the Franciscan order. It invokes the protection of St. Francis in addition to that of Mary. The second element is a little blessed salt. Salt is a symbol of purity and preservation. In the Bible, Jesus tells his disciples that they are the salt of the earth, and blessed salt has the power to drive away evil spirits. During the 2026 ritual, a pinch of blessed salt should be placed in the 4 corners of the room where the ceremony takes place. The third element is a special prayer, a prayer that Padre Pio composed himself for difficult times. This prayer should be recited after the prayer of consecration to Mary. It invokes the protection of Saint Michael the Archangel, the leader of the heavenly armies. I'm going to share this prayer with you now. Listen to it attentively, because it contains words of spiritual power. Saint Michael the Archangel, defender of the Church and protector of faithful souls, we invoke you on this, the second day of the year, by the authority that God has given you. Drive every evil spirit from our home. Close the doors that the enemy has opened. Seal them with your fiery sword. May our family be like an impregnable fortress. May our children be guarded from all temptation. May our deceased be freed from all suffering. And may our future generations inherit this protection. We ask this through the merits of Jesus Christ, through the intercession of the Virgin Mary, and through the prayer of St. Francis and Padre Pio. Amen. This prayer, added to the consecration ritual, creates what Padre Pio called a triple sealing, a Marian sealing, a Franciscan sealing, and a Michaelic sealing. 3 layers of protection that overlap and reinforce each other. I must now talk to you about something delicate, something that concerns the obstacles you might encounter in performing this ritual, because the devil does not remain passive when a family decides to consecrate itself to Mary. He does everything to prevent the ritual. He sows discord. He causes distractions. He creates last-minute obstacles. Padre Pio had warned the faithful of San Giovanni Rotondo. He had told them that if they decided to perform the ritual on the second day of the year, they would encounter resistance, a sudden family argument, an unexpected illness, a last-minute impediment. These are the signs that the ritual is necessary. The stronger the resistance, the more urgent the protection. Evelyn Miller testified to this resistance. On the second day of the year, 1959, everything seemed to be against her. Her youngest son had a tantrum for no reason. Her daughter had a stomachache for hours. She herself almost gave up several times. But she persevered. And it was this perseverance that made the sealing effective. Because the devil tests our faith. He wants to see if we're really determined, if we'll give up at the first obstacle. And if we persevere despite the difficulties, our faith is proven, and a proven faith is a powerful faith. I'm telling you this so that you are prepared. If you decide to perform this ritual tonight, expect obstacles. Don't be surprised if tensions appear in your family. Don't be discouraged if unforeseen events arise. These are the signs that you are on the right path. These are the proofs that the enemy is taking you seriously. And now, I must tell you about the signs that confirm that the sealing has worked. Because Padre Pio never left his spiritual children in uncertainty. He gave them clues to recognize the action of grace. The first sign is peace. A deep peace that invades the house after the ritual. It's not a simple absence of conflict. It's a tangible presence of serenity. Family members feel calmer. The tensions that existed before the ritual seem to dissolve. It's as if an invisible hand has soothed all hearts. The second sign is sleep. After the sealing, family members sleep better. Nightmares disappear. Insomnia lessens. And often, luminous dreams appear. Dreams where you see angels, saints, or deceased loved ones who are smiling. These dreams are confirmations that the protection is active. The third sign is the fragrance. Not just any fragrance. The scent of roses or the scent of incense. These fragrances appear without an explicable physical source. Mother's got you covered. Mama's got you covered. They come and go, mysteriously, and when they do appear, it's a sign that Padre Pio himself is watching over the family. From heaven. The fourth sign is more subtle. It's a series of positive coincidences that start to happen in the days following the ritual. Doors that open. Problems that resolve themselves. People who appear at the right moment, with the right help. These coincidences are not the result of chance. They are the fruits of Mary's protection that is beginning to act. Evelyn Miller experienced all these signs. In the weeks following her January 1959 ritual, peace returned to her house. Her children slept peacefully for the first time since their father's death. She regularly smelled the scent of roses, especially when she prayed the rosary. And unexpected help appeared in her life. A neighbor who offered to babysit her children, a distant aunt who sent her some money, a priest who agreed to say a mass for her deceased husband. But the most spectacular sign came 3 months later. In April 1959, Evelyn's eldest son, Peter, became seriously ill. A mysterious fever that didn't respond to any treatment. The doctors were perplexed. They feared the worst. Evelyn did what any believing mother would do. She prayed. She prayed before the image of the Virgin Mary, where she had performed the sealing ritual, and she reminded Mary of her promise of protection. She said these simple but powerful words, "You promised to watch over my family. My son is part of my family. Mama's got you covered. Cover him now." That night, Peter dreamed of Padre Pio. In the dream, Padre Pio touched his forehead with his stigmatized hand, and when Peter woke up the next morning, the fever was gone, completely. The doctors could never explain this healing, but Evelyn knew. The sealing had held, the protection had worked. This story is not unique. Dozens of families who have performed the ritual on the second day of the year have reported similar experiences. Protection in moments of danger, unexplainable healings, providence arriving just in time. Father Louis Peterson, a priest who has collected these testimonies for years, has counted over 200 documented cases of protection linked to this ritual. 200 families who have experienced divine intervention after sealing their consecration to Mary on the second day of the year. One of the most remarkable cases concerns a family from Chicago, the Smiths. In January 1972, they performed the ritual for the first time. 3 months later, their apartment building collapsed during a storm. Several families perished, but the Smiths survived. They were not in the building at the time of the collapse. A last-minute delay had kept them elsewhere. Coincidence, maybe. But the Smiths don't believe it. They believe that Mary protected them, that the sealing on the second day of the year had created an invisible shield around them, a shield that kept them away from danger at the critical moment. Another remarkable case comes from a family in Boston, the O'Connells, who discovered this ritual in 1985. Their teenage son was in great difficulty. Drugs, bad company, violence. The parents had tried everything: psychologists, rehab centers, threats, pleas. Nothing worked. In desperation, the mother discovered the ritual of the second day of the year. In an old book about Padre Pio, she convinced her husband to perform it with her. Their son refused to participate, but they included him anyway, by writing his name on the paper, placing it under the image of the Virgin Mary. In the months that followed, their son began to change, slowly at first, then more visibly. He left his bad company. He resumed his studies. He even started going to Mass with his parents again. Today, that son is a priest. He celebrates Mass every day and every the second day of the year. He renews the sealing of protection for his family and for all the families he accompanies. These stories are not fairy tales. They are real testimonies of real families who have experienced the power of this ritual. Families who dared to believe. Families who persevered despite the obstacles. Families who have seen Mary keep her promise of protection. And now, I have to tell you something personal, something that touches me deeply. In sharing this revelation with you, when I discovered this ritual several years ago, I was skeptical, like many of you. Maybe. I wondered if it was really effective, if it wasn't just an old superstition, if it still made sense in our modern world. But I decided to try it. I decided to trust Padre Pio and the Virgin Mary. I performed the ritual of the second day of the year with my own family. And what happened next changed my life. I'm not going to tell you the personal details, but I can tell you this. The protections I've experienced are real. The positive coincidences have happened. The dangers have been averted. And above all, a deep peace has descended on my family. That's why I'm sharing this ritual with you today, not to accumulate views, not to create viral content, but because I sincerely believe that you and your family need this protection, especially in 2026, especially in the times we are living in. And if you feel a calling right now, if something inside you tells you that this message is for you, if you feel that your family needs this sealing, then don't let this night pass. Don't put off until tomorrow. What you can do today, because the second day of the year only comes once a year, and this year, 2026, with its special grace linked to St. Francis, will never come again. It's now or never, it's tonight or never. I know that some of you are watching this video late at night. Maybe it's already the second day of the year. Maybe it's almost midnight. If so, don't panic. The ritual can be performed at any time on the second day of the year. Ideally, it's before midnight. But if that's not possible, perform it when you can. Mary understands, Mary welcomes. And for those who are watching this video after the second day of the year, don't despair. The ritual can be adapted for other times of the year, but I encourage you to note it in your calendar for next year, to prepare yourselves now for the second day of the year 2027, because every year counts. Each sealing reinforces the previous one. Now I want to take a moment to thank those of you who support this work of revelation. Those who use the Super Thanks feature, those who share these videos with their loved ones, those who pray that these messages reach the souls that need them. You know, sharing these revelations from Padre Pio isn't always easy. There are resistances. There are criticisms. There are moments when I wonder if it's all worth it. But every time I receive a message from a family that has been touched, every time someone tells me that their life has changed because of these teachings, I know it's worth it. And it's thanks to your support that I can continue. The super thanks isn't just a financial contribution, it's an act of faith. It's a way of saying that you believe in this mission, that you want these revelations to continue to reach other families, that you are partners in this spiritual work. Padre Pio used to say that those who help spread Marian devotion receive a special blessing. He said that Mary herself intervenes to protect those who make her protection known. And I sincerely believe that each and every one of you who supports this work receives that blessing. So if you can, if your heart urges you, use the super thanks that appears below this video. Do it not for me, but for the families who need to hear this message. Do it as an offering to Mary, in union with the protection ritual that you will perform tonight. And now, before we conclude, I want to give you some practical tips for performing the ritual in the best way possible. First, prepare your space in advance. Don't rush at the last minute. Choose the room where you will perform the ritual. Ideally, a room where you usually pray. A clean, tidy room that is welcoming to the divine presence. Second, gather all the necessary items. Holy water, the image of the Blessed Virgin, the image of St. Francis if you have one, a brand new white candle, blessed salt, blank sheets of paper, pens or pencils to write the names, a rosary for each participant. Third, invite all members of your family to participate. If some refuse, don't force them, but include their names on the papers anyway. The protection extends even to those who do not actively participate, provided someone prays for them. Fourth, cut out all distractions. Turn off your phones. Close the screens. Create a space of silence and prayer. The ritual requires concentration and faith. Distractions weaken its effectiveness. Fifth, be patient. The ritual can take an hour or more. The candle must burn completely. Don't rush. Don't look at the time anxiously. Entrust the time to God and let the ritual unfold at its own pace. Sixth, after the ritual, keep the papers with the names in a sacred place. Your family Bible is ideal. A drawer with your religious objects also works. The important thing is that these papers are treated with respect, as precious spiritual documents. Seventh, in the days following the ritual, be attentive to the signs: peace, peaceful sleep, mysterious fragrances, positive coincidences. Note these signs. Give thanks for these signs. They are confirmation that Mary has accepted your consecration. Eighth, renew your daily commitment. The ritual of the second day of the year seals the protection, but it must be maintained by daily prayer. The rosary is the ideal tool. Even just 1 decade a day maintains the connection with Mary and strengthens the protection. And now I want to conclude with the words of Padre Pio himself, words he spoke on the second day of the year, 1959, after explaining the ritual to the faithful of San Giovanni Rotondo. He said this: "My children, I have given you a powerful weapon, a weapon that the devil fears, a weapon that will protect your families in the difficult times to come. But this weapon only works if you use it. It only works if you believe. It only works if you persevere. Don't be Christians in name only. Don't be Sunday Catholics. Be warriors of faith. Be guardians of your families. Be children of Mary who wear her mantle with pride. And when the devil approaches, when temptations come, when trials strike, remember what you have done tonight. Remember that you are under Mary's mantle. Remember that you are protected by St. Francis and St. Michael. And do not give in. Do not falter. For he who perseveres to the end will be saved." These words of Padre Pio resonate with particular force at the beginning of this year, 2026, because we are living precisely in the difficult times he spoke of. Times of spiritual confusion, times of attacks against the family, times when the devil seems to have gained ground. But the devil has not won, and he will not win, because Mary is here, St. Francis is here, St. Michael is here, Padre Pio is here, and they are waiting for us to ask them to protect us. So tonight, take this step of faith. Perform the sealing ritual. Consecrate your family to the Virgin Mary. And enter the year 2026 with the certainty that you are covered by the most powerful mantle that exists. May the Virgin Mary bless you. May St. Francis intercede for you. May St. Michael protect you. And may Padre Pio watch over you from heaven. Now I'd like to know something. In the comments, tell me how many people you plan to include in your protection ritual tonight. Write the number 3, 5, and 7, 10 more. Each number represents souls that you love, souls that you want to protect, souls that Mary will cover with her mantle. And if you have already performed this ritual in the past, share your testimony. Tell us how the protection has manifested in your life. Your testimony may be exactly what someone else needs to believe. Your story can save a family. May God keep you, may Mary protect you. And may this year 2026 be for you and your family a year of abundant graces and divine protection. Amen.